Yo, what is up, everyone? I hope you can hear me all right. I got some traffic down there, but as you can see, I'm in Colombia, in Cali, Colombia. And, man, well, I thought maybe, I knew it was going to be volatile this week, but I wasn't expecting the activity and everything going on like this morning. It's been awesome. It's been great. I posted on my Instagram about it, and that's what this video is about. Going to go over those pairs and, get updated on everything in the market. And if this is your first time seeing me, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. My name's Ronan, and I have an amazing group of traders, VIP group and a free group. And we're navigating the markets every day. I teach my style of trading, and it's allowed me an awesome life. And, I'm just trying to give back. So if you like that, if you're into that kind of thing, and if you'd like to be a part of a community of people, just click the link in the bio or below if you're watching this on YouTube. That'd be awesome. So that being said, let's get into it. And what really moved the markets this week was today. And I wasn't surprised by this. Donald Trump, we got the trade deal, we got China going on, and December 15th is a big deadline day for this trade negotiations on whether or not we'll put more tariffs on China. And today it is absolutely looking like that's going to be the case. Trump saying no trade deal, and which is I'm not shocked at all by it. But the thing is, he needs this trade deal. He needs these negotiations because 2020 we got an election coming up, and he's kind of backed himself into a corner. The market just keeps pumping up, and then it just isn't lasting, right? So I think people are starting to get sick of it, and we're at a breaking point on the SP 500. So that's where I'm going to start. We're going to look at USDJPY. We're going to look at JPY pairs. We got treasury notes, which are bonds. If you're into trading gold, and right now, this is the first week of real volatility in the FX market. But if you're looking for a volatile pair to trade, gold's going to be your best bet for sure. So we're going to get into gold, and if you're looking at correlations at home, I'm definitely a correlations type trader. So watching the bond market is super important. I'm talking about 10-year treasury notes. It's not, depending on which broker that carries it, you may have to go on TradingView to see where it is, but just looking for the correlation between that and gold and the inverse correlation on the S&P 500. So that being said, that's a mouthful for sure, but let's look at some technicals. As you can see, it's beautiful here, man. I'm pumped to be here. You see it. Traffic is crazy. I've never driven here before, man. It looks nuts. But, okay, so that being said, let's go into, let me share my screen with you. Okay. So right here we have dollar Swiss, right? So we just hit our 100 pip target on this. This has been a great trade. And what I was looking at this originally is this false breakout, right? So I just say this all the time to my traders, and hopefully you guys have it as a mantra for yourself. A false breakout typically leads to a breakdown, and this is just an excellent example of that. So it looks like we're about to start finding some support here. So that being said, we can go over and looking at the correlations on risk pairs, right? So if we're looking at dollar Swiss, now we got to look at dollar yen, and oh man, dude, this is a beautiful trade. I just entered another position in here. And I think a retest now of this ascending wedge. This is what I'm going to be looking for USDJPY. So wouldn't be surprised to see a move back to 109.70 or 108.70, 108.80. And in fact, if that does happen, I will be super pumped because going to create another buying opportunity for yen, selling opportunity for dollars. So we would be selling USDJPY. And we're kind of getting in the mode now that this is really broken down. And I had this box here, which was a big demand zone and a big selling pressure point, right? You can see just huge rejection. I've been sharing this chart for weeks now. You can just go through my videos, weekly charting, weekly daily recaps, all of them. I talk about USDJPY, and a lot of times, it doesn't happen. Most of the time, it doesn't happen right when you think it's going to happen. But staying true to your analysis is super important. And I think more downside once we break this bottom here is going to be huge. So watching this is going to be super important. And I mean, we have another trend line here that's a possibility. I just saw. And you could definitely make the argument that, well, even then, it looks like we've broken down out of that trend line. So this is a big deal. I would love to get a retest here and then a move lower to kind of reset the RSI down here a little bit. So JP and then yen pairs across the board look very similar. In fact, euro yen here this looks like a good setup actually, because what I'm going to be looking to do is, now that I've established my position on these pairs, and I know we have some risk off coming in the market, so what I'm going to be trying to do is to buy yen on rallies. In other words, selling rallies on USDJPY, Euro JPY. And we have a nice long-term target here for Euro Yen. Hope y'all can hear me. It's traffic's loud. I got a microphone plugged in though. So, and then you can look at the only one across the board I would be careful of is pound yen. And actually, this looks like a great buying opportunity for the pound over the yen, because we have multiple levels here. And I am using my fractals to get a closer look, and I really like this setup now. So I'm going to pause this video and send a signal out to my group. And so the people in your group, this is exactly what I'm looking at. This is a great buying opportunity for the pound, especially if we get some GBP USD strength coming into the markets. Let me pause here. All right, sorry about that. I was paused to send a signal out there for GBP JPY to my group, and then went down the Instagram wormhole. So that was like 40 minutes ago. So, dude, social media is crazy. Okay, so there we are on GJ. I think this is a great setup, and this is the only one that I would be like bullish on yen pairs, because CAD JPY, huge breakdown. And sure, you can, what's going to happen is we're going to get a bounce in these pairs, just like, what happens, in trading. Bounces happen, and it's going to create a great opportunity to sell that rally. And this is one of my big things that I teach in, this looks like a good buying opportunity too, to be honest. This is one of the things I teach in my training, is that it's so important to establish a bias and then determine, okay, so I'm bullish yen, right? So I'm looking for yen to strengthen, or yen already has strengthened, because all we got to do is look at the SP 500 and look at that huge drop. This might actually be a good buying opportunity too. So I'm going to pause this. Sorry. Okay. When a market's acting like it is right now, you gotta take the opportunities as they present themselves. And this is going to be a great example of buying the dip here, and then I'm going to sell the rally. But, you know, in terms of thinking about Wall Street and the S&P 500, there's a lot of other people that are going to be looking to buy the dip. But, you know, maybe this thing drips lower. It looks like it definitely could, because this is a super important chart. And if I was going to go over any chart today, well, this one and gold would be the big ones I would go to. But check this out. So we have this this throw over number 1 that we're at right now, or that we already broke down from. So you can see how I had this marked out with these arrows here. But the more important throw over is where we're retesting now. This is huge. And if you go back to some of my videos 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, this is a monster deal. Because if we break down inside this throw over, this is one of the biggest reversal patterns, a throw over like this, in trading. And we have a giant megaphone pattern here, and y'all are probably like, dude, back on the megaphone. But check it out. If we, just like in the first of the video, how I said a false breakout typically leads to a breakdown, which I was talking about dollar Swiss on a 4-hour scale, right? So follow me here. This is super important. And, you know, if you're taking advantage of these videos and want to write this down and take notes, this would be something that you want to remember. So here is an example of a false breakout leading to a breakdown on a 4-hour chart, right? So if you think about the way the market works, you have monthly charts, you have weekly charts, daily charts, 4-hour charts, 2-hour charts, 1-hour charts, and everything happens kind of in that universe. So in like a 4-hour chart, we got a breakdown of 100 pips here, right? And so that's relative to, we're looking at on 100 on a 4-hour time frame. So a big breakdown of 100 pips is a big move. So we you know, transfer over here to the S&P 500. So this is the 4-hour chart. We got a pretty similar size breakdown on 4-hour chart, right? So you're following me. So our moves are happening in relative size to the chart we're looking at, essentially. So let me take off my sunglasses so I can really reiterate this. The moves happen in relation to the time frame that we're looking at. So 100 pip move seems about relative for a 4-hour time frame. 60 pip move seems pretty relative for a 1-hour time frame. Now, and this is a throw over, like I've been talking about, or false breakdown, right? False breakout, and then a breakdown. It wasn't able to get enough liquidity. It wasn't able to get enough buying power. There wasn't enough buyers in the market to shoot the price up. And so we move this to a daily chart. This is an even bigger relative scale on the size of the move that could be incoming if this does break down. And then we get back on the inside, and this is a weekly chart. This would be a massive reversal in the S&P 500. Now, are we going to break down to the this low on this megaphone pattern? Probably not. I mean, that would be just absolute chaos in the United States if that happens. So, you know, honestly, I hope that doesn't happen for all the people that have their money in the S&P 500 and mutual funds, and they just gave their retirement funds to, or retirement plans to a broker that just put in the S&P, right? And so that's where a lot of this money is. So I hope that doesn't happen to people. But from a trader's perspective, I am going to look to predict this move and then take advantage of it to the best of our ability. And look at this. Look at that divergence. Look at the momentum here. This is a momentum indicator. I just started using it again. Pretty fun. I used to use momentum a lot. But you can see how momentum's just really dropping off here and building to the downside. Look at this, right? So when we have kind of confirming, we got divergence here, we got momentum falling off. So this was a pretty easy move to predict. And then plus all the fundamentals that I've talked about in the start of this video about Trump, about trade, about China, about negotiations. This is a ticking time bomb. And if we break below here, man, this is going to be a big deal. This is going to be a big sell-off, and it's a recipe for yen to strengthen, to continue to strengthen after a bit of a bounce, right? And actually, you know what? Since we're at this level on the SP 500, I'm going to add in another buy here, because the likelihood that we bounce from this throwover line first before breaking it, I hope we do break it, is more likely than it breaking down today. So my stop loss is at 30.60, and I'm buying with a take profit of and so what I'm doing here to establish my positions is looking at different resistance levels. So 31.05 is going to be my take profit for that. So if you all want to get in on this, but that's trade at your own risk. That's not financial advice, but it's what I'm doing. So let's see. That's the S&P 500. So that takes me over to, well, here we are on gold, right? So last but not least, this is big. This is a big deal, and it's a move I've been waiting for. Oh man, we started this decline in September, right? So we have multiple layers of descending channel here. The significant part is this was the breakout point here, like a dump truck. So this is the original breakout point from this line where we had this false breakout. We had another rally, and just like I've been saying this whole video, false breakout usually leads to breakdown. That's exactly what happened here. And here we are, and now consolidating, bit of a double bottom down here, which is nice. And so next stop, so obviously that we're at on a horizontal level, you can see this level of resistance that we're at here, right? So, you know, you can't really deny these levels. I think this is a good place for a box, like I had on our USDJPY. We break above here, which 1488, 1490. And look, folks, we're just one headline away from that happening. And so it's the world we live in, this weird Trump universe that, you know, we're just a tweet away, we're just a headline away with really nothing backing it. So it's right now it's creating volatility that we haven't had, so I'm not complaining about it at all. So check this out. This is our next diagonal level that we're at. So we have our horizontals here. It's good to establish these when you're looking at support and resistance. First, you know, you look at your levels from a horizontal standpoint, and then you want to go from a diagonal standpoint. And I talk about this in my training, is that, you know, typically there's two types of people that see things flat and straight, and maybe more of an analytical point of view or mathematical, and sees things horizontal, or maybe black and white, right? There's that saying. And then there you have people that see things in diagonal. I just tend to see diagonals in the market more than I do horizontal support and resistance zones, which is good sometimes, which is bad other times. So I've really made it a practice to try and level off both these levels, both these zones. There, that sounds a little bit better, because it's super important to know and have a good idea about these things. So we get above this level here. Just coming in at, if you looked at my Instagram tweets or my tweets on Twitter, my Instagram post, I'm talking about 1490, and then for 1500. We get above 1500 here. it's going to be a big deal. Now, what if for you to really start to confirm things, the tides have shifted, and I would say this is a good indication that it has, because we're making another lower high instead of lower lows, which is important. We break this level here where we had our false breakouts, and we break above and get a good close like around here, which, I mean, that's a ways away, 1520. That'd be a $40 move. But I mean, by the way we're starting to rally, again, say the SP 500, if we break below that throwover line, we break down from 3080, this is going to be a big deal. So that's it's going to be a recipe for gold. It's going to give it the firepower and the fuel for us to get a just mega rally here. And then we take out this high, these false breakout highs, 1524. If you can't see it, there we go, 1524. Next stop is these highs. We close above there. Next stop, 1600 and beyond for sure. And, you know, we can look on what's pretty promising here is this reversal on momentum. And if we're just looking at our indicators, and yes, you can use technical analysis on indicators. So we got to break out above on the RSI. Break out above on the momentum. So pretty good signs of a reversal here. So what we're waiting for now is for the price action to follow. So this would be super important, and it's super exciting, man. There's a lot of stuff happening now, and I knew it, that I said on the last videos that December is going to, oh, one more thing, just to get back to Forex, that December is going to be a big month. Historically, it is a volatile month for sure. And here we are at another breaking point on Euro USD, broken out here. Dollar got hammered on yesterday from, I guess it was PMI data. Don't quote me on that. I think that's what it was. And Friday we have NFP. So NFP comes in weak. Then we potentially see these levels get challenged. And just like gold, pretty similar, we get above these diagonal resistance layers, then there's a lot less layers of resistance blocking our way. So this is this is a big deal for sure. And what a way to end 2019, going into 2020, and the next year. I mean, we got impeachment going on, we got an election going on, and we have Trump in office. So it's not going to be a dull one. You can pretty much bet your money on that. Another thing I should add, for GBP USD, is we broken out, for the most part, of this like long consolidating flag type pattern. So we have British elections coming up too. So this is going to be big. And if we see Boris Johnson's party stay in power, I guess you would say, I think we can count on the pound to rallying to 132. And the other side of that is Labour Party, Corbyn gets elected and has an upset victory. I think you would see this tank pretty hard. But we can get above 3020 here and close above this structure. This is going to be pretty bullish for pound dollar, big time, GBP USD. So Man, I think I covered a bunch in this video. It's probably be a pretty long video. I hope you stuck around this far. Silver's also breaking out too. I mean, God, it's just so much better when the market's actually moving. So many more opportunities, and you can really create a more long-term bias about what's going on in the market. So I'm super excited. There's going to be a lot of volatility moving forward, and the big thing is gold for me, at least. S&P 500, gold, US dollar, yen. If you could really get a handle on those, and also take a look at treasury notes, bonds. It's something I've started studying recently as well. I'll probably do add a part to my training and course about correlations, about bonds, about the bond market, and the way that correlates with safe haven currencies is what I've been studying for the most part. You got to keep your studies up for sure. So if you made it this far, if you like my free videos, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. That would be awesome. And have an amazing December, amazing week. And I will catch you on the next video. Adios, amigos. Peace.